Women's inequality in sports today is very prevalent. As we're about to explain in this video, we'll show you examples of the past and present examples that women face in discretion in sports, as well as discuss Title IX issues and how it relates to a problem in our project book.
I like bringing everybody together, and the King Riggs match gave me the biggest platform I could ever have. Because of that match, got so much exposure to new people that never even thought about tennis. Today, a woman comes up to me, says, I saw that match. That gave me self-confidence for the first time. I went to my boss and asked for a raise. I've been wanting to get a raise for 10 years and I didn't have the courage. And I said, well, more importantly, did you get the raise? And they went, we did. They said, that's the last time I'm not going to speak up. Guys will come up and say, I didn't understand until I had a daughter. That changed my whole life and how I raised my son and how I raised my daughter. I know I wouldn't have raised them the way I did since that match. That match made me sit back and think about things.
Hey, Coach Greek, how you doing?
Hey, Coach Salter. I can't believe that we actually are going to do this. But it looks like we have to clean our office for the last time now.
I just don't get it, man. After 45 years as a program here, I mean, somehow other sports get to stay. We've produced talent at this institution every year.
I know, Coach, but you know, the director Lawson, she was looking out for the best of interest of all of our teams.
I know, but it's just crazy because we've been the most consistent team around here, I feel like. You know, last year's baseball, I mean, what's next? Basketball getting cut? I don't see where these budget cuts are coming from. Right down the street, football's getting a new locker room. And I mean, are the women's sports even going to be affected? I don't see any school spirit for the women. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm confused by it too, Coach.
You know?
Director Lawson, she didn't do a good job explaining us at our exit meeting. So maybe you and I can go to her and ask her to help us understand.
Yeah, I agree, Coach. I mean, if anything, I want to know why it's us and not other teams. Here, let's head down to her office.
Director Lawson, how are you
Coaches,
today?
great to see you.
Hey,
Great
Director
to
Lawson,
see
good
you.
to see you.
I'm so happy you guys came down to see me before you left. Our decision to cut your program is one we are sad we had to make. What can I help you with before you leave?
Thanks, Grace. Coach Creek and I are just still struggling to understand why he chose our program. I mean, it seems crazy to me that we have budget cuts coming when football is expanding their locker room. Why two men's sports in a row and not women's sports?
I know, it's unfortunate that two of our men's teams had to go. We only expanded the football locker room because the coaches have tripled enrollment in their program in 5 short years.
Yeah.
To match the funding for Title IX, we have to spend the same amount on women's sports as men. With wrestling enrollment being so low, it was the obvious choice that we had to cut you guys.
Well, it doesn't sound like equality to me. I mean, it's just unfair.
Yeah, Grace, I don't know how you expect us to accept this as an answer. We have always produced talented men who go on with great graduation rates.
I know you guys are upset, but I'm going to need you to calm down right now. There isn't anything we can do about it. You two must not know how much women have struggled to fight for the equality in athletics. When your program was started, we started our first women's sports team here, and look at how much we've grown since then. We've come so far with women's sports, and it's only right that we equal their funding.
I never really thought of it that way. I mean, I guess women really have struggled to make their mark on the sports world.
Yeah. Sports were originally played to prove manhood, but it has changed so much since then. With the health and body movement, women were able to finally get their own sports to participate in, merging with men's gymnastics, golf, and tennis. These were the preferred sports because women were still expected to act like ladies to act inferior to men's sports.
Yeah, well, women really are making strides today. I mean, my kids are in the baseball team, and there are already 3 girls on the team. So.
Wow.
And I'd love to hear that. It's great to hear that our culture is finally changing. Well, that's great. Unfortunately, the equality worldwide in colleges and high school still isn't met today. That's why Title IX is so important in helping us achieve that. The Title IX compliance test requires that a school meets one of any 3 parts of the equality test. So I'm going to go over the equality test with you both just to give you a better understanding.
Okay.
The proportional participation test is one of women's sports on sports teams that has to be similar to women enrolled as full-time undergraduate students. The second test is the history of progress test. A school can document that it has clear history and continuing practice of expanding its sports program for female athletes. And finally, the accommodation of interest test. A school can prove that it has fully and effectively accommodated the sports participation interest of female students currently enrolled and potential future student athletes in nearby high schools. So like I said before, women have struggled through gender inequality in athletics for many years, and the gender inequalities still unfortunately remain. While Title IX has produced dramatic increases in sports participation among girls and women, equality is far from being achieved in the United States and worldwide. The continued disagreements are still being faced to this day that women should be allowed to play sports, with their funding issues and other resources that should support their participation. Female athletes in the United States still remain underrepresented for not only high school, college, but professional sports as well.
Grace, I mean, that's just so much information. I'm so glad you're kind of teaching us all this. I feel you're right about equality, but I just don't see it here. I mean, our women's teams are always doing a great job, yet the school fails to show school spirit. They always have a full roster, and their gear is always new. Where are they lacking in funding?
Well, you must have been blind to their facilities this whole time. Take a walk with me to the other side of campus, and we can show you what it's been lacking this entire time.
All right, well, guys, let's head over there.
Alright, so as you can see, we have our new football facility being built right here. Like I said before, as football's tripled enrollment over the past 5 years, we need a bigger facility with locker rooms and state-of-the-art things.
That's pretty big.
Huge. See that? Huge. And welcome to the field hockey and women's lacrosse locker room, which they share. I have 3 women's lacrosse players with me right now. And ladies, tell me about your experience here at the school and what gender inequality issues you faced throughout your years here.
Well, we share a locker room, which I don't think anyone else does. So we only have it during the spring season, which is our main season, even though we play most of the fall and we start preseason in the winter. So we play lacrosse year round, but we only have a locker room for a couple months.
So in the fall, we're forced to keep a lot of our stuff in our cars or apartments. And then after practice, when we're trying to get to class, we don't have a place to change. We barely even have a bathroom.
We don't have showers ever, even in season. We don't have showers here on
We have
campus.
one single toilet for the entire team to share.
For the entire area down here to share, which is also the football locker rooms and then the lacrosse locker rooms, all the coaches and the radio staff that's back there. It smells.
But the football and men's lacrosse teams have other bathrooms and showers they can use, but we can't get to them because
We're not allowed to use them because we're girls. We can't do our own laundry because the washer and dryer, you'd have to go through the boys' locker rooms. If we come into our locker room through the door back there, that's also where they walk from the showers to their locker room, so chances that we see a half-naked boy are very high. It's super uncomfortable. We don't have our own weight room. Hockey has their own weight room. Football and lacrosse have their own weight room, but we either have to use the rec or borrow hockey's, and the rec's terrible. It smells really bad. Equipment stuff are in there. What else?
Well, ladies, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Just so happening to run into you guys down here, not in season. Good luck with your season this year, and thank you. Thank you. Coaches, do you understand the gender inequality issues now?
Changed my mind deeply. I didn't know about this. But make
way better facilities like everyone else does. And you know,
Wild stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, these facilities.
I told you, this is some of the facilities that the women have to use when they don't have access to any other place. So this floor, probably not up to code right now, but they have to use what they have.
What's crazy to me is that, you would think maybe only women's basketball would be using this, but also in the South, softball's in here during being up north. It's crazy they don't have the facilities.
It's tough.
Now I can see why we're struggling to get mats for the wrestling team. It's really starting to click on why quality certainly matters in men's and women's sports.
Absolutely.
Quarterback Cam Newton showing a pretty shocking level of condescension towards a female reporter today after practice.
Yeah, I know you take a lot of pride in seeing your receivers play well. Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality of his routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like, it's funny.
Now, the reporter involved, Jordan Rodriguez, took to Twitter afterwards saying, "I don't think it's funny to be a female and talk about routes. I think it's my job." And she added that she spoke with Cam Newton afterwards and it was worse. She chose not to share because, hey, she's got a job to do. A little side eye going Cam Newton's way from me anyways. And Ziggy Ansah, Anthony Zettel, I'm looking at you. You got a job to do on Sunday.